Welcome to this week's Full Steam Ahead, a program combining fun projects and learning about science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. As always, I am your host and resident youth services librarian, Eric Mahalitz with the Kent Public Library. In today's session, we are revisiting circuits and electricity. A while back, we made brushbots, simple robots using toothbrushes and vibration motors. Today, we're going to make our very own magic wands that light up. Lumos! Let's get started. Okay, so here we have all of the materials that we're going to need for our magic wands that light up. Here I have a finished version here. And the cool thing about these is not only that that we've created something that lights up, but it also has a switch, which allows us to keep our circuit closed and open as we choose. So the basic materials that we're working with here today, I've got 3 craft sticks or popsicle sticks. And one thing that you can do, so these are all their natural wood color. I highly recommend choosing a color that you want to go with. Maybe choose a color for the outside pieces and then a separate color for the middle piece there, just to make it the appearance of it pop a little bit more. But so we have our 3 popsicle sticks there. We've got an LED. So you can see in this example one, I used a red LED, and we'll see when we create this one how the yellow fares. We have a CR2032 3-volt coin cell battery. We've got some electrical tape, and we have some copper tape. This is really what makes most of the magic happen here. This is pretty cool stuff. And a pair of scissors, basic pair of scissors. So the first thing that we're gonna have to do is set up our craft sticks with the copper tape. We have to get our circuit ready. We're gonna build our circuit. So let me cut a few pieces of this. The first thing I'm gonna do is set up our switch. And I'll show you how that's gonna happen here. The thing I'll say about this copper tape is that as soon as you take the backing off, it gets really curly. It likes to curl up quite a bit. So I'm gonna take what is going to be the craft stick that's gonna have our switch on it. I'm gonna peel back some of this backing here, but not all of it. Again, this copper tape really likes to curl up on you. So I like to adhere some of it and then slowly peel that backing away. And so you can see here, I've chosen, you can choose any one of your craft sticks at this point. And I'm, maybe about 1/3 of the way up this craft stick. And what I'm gonna do is just wrap a piece of this copper tape around, all the way around that craft stick there. Okay? And now I'm gonna do that same thing one more time. And now this time I'm gonna go about 1 centimeter or so further up the craft stick. Again, I'm slowly peeling that backing off so my copper tape doesn't curl up on me, and wrap it around. And this is, it's hard to tell this right now, but this is what makes our switch possible. This is what keeps our circuit from being closed all the time, and what allows us to create a button that's going to close that circuit for us when we want it to. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a strip of copper tape going from this ring to this edge, and from this ring to this edge. So the next, we're going to choose another one of our craft sticks, and we're going to place a piece of copper tape from end to end. Okay, so now we have those two. And at this point, so we have these two which make up the majority of our circuit here. And then we have another one which is going to go in the middle and act as our insulation. So whenever you're building a circuit, you have to keep your positive and negative sides from touching one another. Otherwise, your circuit won't work. So the next thing, well, let's do this next. I'll attach our LED to the circuit that we've built so far. So to do that, we're going to use a little bit more copper tape. And it doesn't matter which side, which of these prongs you attach to which craft stick. We can figure that out later, or solve for that later with how we position our battery, which side our battery is facing. So in order to put this on our craft stick, we're going to use a little more copper tape. And I'll just go ahead and cut 2 pieces of this right away. And we are going to use this to tape down our LED. And you might need a little help from a grown-up. There's, we're working in small spaces here with kind of finicky copper tape. It doesn't always want to behave or do what you want it to. But patience is key. Oh, and before I go any further, let's take a step back for a moment. So before, when working with circuits, when working with batteries, when working with LEDs, it's always good to test out your light and your battery. If you get all the way here, click this button and something's not working, it would be so sad if one of those things that wasn't working was either your light, that your light was burnt out, or that your battery was dead. There can be any number of other things that aren't working, but if one of those two things is wrong, then it's never going to work. So it's always good to test your battery and your light. So I actually can't do it with this one anymore because it's taped down there. But for instance, if you just take the two legs of your LED, wrap them around your coin cell battery, it should light up. That tells you that both your battery and your light are good. Now, when doing that, so an LED has one prong that is a little bit longer than the other. The longer prong is your positive. So when you're looking at your battery usually has a plus sign on the positive side. So I need to face that side towards the positive in order for it to work. If I face it the other way, it doesn't work. Okay? But always a good idea to, when working with circuits, to test your power source and the thing that you are attempting to power. Okay, so back to building or fixing our LED to our circuit. I've got to fix that other leg. So let's get our tape on it. And get it pinned down. Okay, so now we've got that, and notice that was the, this copper tape, the one that is end to end, is on the inside, and this side, that has the strips running from this end of our switch and this end of our switch all the way to the ends. Those are on the inside. Okay. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our third and final craft stick here, and we're going to snip a battery-sized chunk off of the edge of it. So I'm just going to mark that with my finger there and cut that off. Might want to use some slightly better scissors next time. And the nice thing is we're going to be able to use this part. This is actually going to be our switch. So now what I can do here, this part is going to go in the middle there. Okay. And you can see there's room for our battery. And again, it's hard to tell which side of that LED is the positive and which is the negative, but we'll be able to know if it works, then the battery's the right way. If it doesn't work, then chances are the battery just needs to be turned around. But in order to really test this now, we have to put our switch together, and our switch is going to sit on top here, but in order for our switch to work, it is going to need its own little strip of copper tape. So I am going to eyeball this a little bit here. Let me clear out any excess stuff that we don't need to be distracting us here. And just cut one more strip. I think that's the last we'll need of the copper tape. And so this piece of copper tape is going to go from our rounded side here over to the flat side. Okay, so that when that goes down onto our switch, it's closing the circuit when it touches this, and then it gets pushed down so that it's also touching that top bar there. So let's see, before we start taping things in place and really fixing things in place, let's see if this works. So I'm going to try with the battery facing up. Up. Right. Got to keep my insulation in there. And then if I put this down, oh, there you go. So my battery must be facing the right direction. And when the switch is on there, the light lights up. Our circuit is closed and working. Yay! So now at this point, the circuit is intact. The last thing that we need to do is kind of fix everything in place. So the first thing I'm going to do is fix my switch. And I'm going to do that using a little bit of electrical tape. So you can see the tape kind of helps pull our switch off of that top bit of copper tape there. So it's not always sitting right on it and closing that circuit, because we don't want our light to be on all the time. That would burn out the light super fast, run your battery down super fast, and then you wouldn't be able to say Lumos and light up your light. All right, so now that that is there, I'm going to put the battery back in. Yay. And I'm going to use another piece of copper tape, not copper tape, the electrical tape, to hold the battery in there. So things stop falling apart on me. Okay, and before you do this, you just want to make sure that it is in fact working. You've got your battery in there the correct way. And obviously if and when your battery does run down on you, you're just having to take a little piece of tape off and you can replace the battery. Okay, but there you go. And then I like to put one more piece of tape up near the top here. So this helps hold our insulation piece, that middle craft stick in there. Okay, so there you have it. And we've got our two here, and you can kind of test them next to each other. See, I kind of like the red better. The red is a little brighter, quite a bit brighter. But again, so now we have made our magic wands. We can say Lumos and light it up. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's Full Steam Ahead. As always, I hope you had fun and learned a little something along the way. See the link in the description for more information and subscribe to the Kent Library YouTube channel. I look forward to seeing you next time on Full Steam Ahead.